What if everything you've been told about Harry and Meghan is a lie? What if the true story is far darker than the fairy tale they've sold the world? For years, we've watched them paint themselves as victims, trapped by the royal family, seeking freedom, privacy, and justice. But what if those claims are nothing more than a carefully crafted facade to distract from the real truth? A truth that's been hiding in plain sight, masked by interviews, documentaries, and the endless media circus they've orchestrated. There's a side to this story that no one dares to talk about, a side that's far more sinister than anyone could imagine. What's really behind the drama? The lawsuits, the tears, who's really pulling the strings, and who stands to gain from this never-ending spectacle. Stick around, because what I'm about to reveal will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about this royal disaster. You won't believe what's been kept hidden. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, so you don't miss the shocking details coming up next. When Harry and Meghan first stepped away from royal duties, the world was given a story of two brave souls fighting against an outdated, oppressive institution. They were the underdogs, the misunderstood figures, seeking a new life free from the royal family's suffocating grip. They claimed to be fighting for their mental health, for their privacy, and for a life on their own terms. But what if this story isn't as pure as it seems? What if there's more to their exit than just a desire for freedom? Let's take a step back and examine the timeline. From the very beginning, Harry and Meghan's departure was framed as a move toward independence. They painted themselves as victims of a royal system that was stuck in its archaic ways, more focused on tradition than on the welfare of its members. They expressed outrage over the treatment of Meghan by the press, which they claimed led to her mental health struggles. They made heartfelt speeches about mental health, using their platform to highlight the importance of seeking help. At face value, their message seemed noble, and many people sympathized with them. But here's the first twist. Was this all an act? The more you dig, the more it starts to feel like the royal family wasn't the villain they made it out to be. In fact, Harry and Meghan's departure wasn't as dramatic as they made it seem. They didn't want to be totally cut off from the royal family. They wanted the best of both worlds. They wanted the perks, the influence, and the global platform, but without the responsibilities that come with it. Is it possible they sold themselves as victims when, in reality, they were just trying to carve out a lucrative niche for themselves? Think about the first major event that followed their exit, the Oprah interview. The world was shocked by Meghan's claims of being misunderstood and Harry's tales of being trapped in the royal system. But as we watched, something didn't add up. Meghan claimed there were discussions about her son's skin color before he was born, a shocking accusation that painted the royal family in a racist light. Yet, there was no evidence to support this. Harry admitted that he didn't even know who had made the comments. Leaving the claim without a clear target, it felt more like an emotional gut punch aimed at an institution that had given them everything, rather than a genuine quest for truth. But why were these serious accusations thrown around with so little evidence? As their Netflix deal and Harry's book deal came to light, it became even clearer that this wasn't just a story about mental health or breaking free from the monarchy. No, this was about creating a brand, and a highly profitable one at that. Think about it. Every time they air a grievance, every time they accuse someone of mistreating them, it drives headlines, generates sympathy, and boosts their visibility. What does this visibility lead to? Book deals, paid speaking engagements, and lucrative media contracts. Meghan had been a struggling actress, and Harry was the spare prince. What changed? They found a way to monetize their suffering. But here's the real kicker. Isn't that exactly what they accused the royal family of doing? Using their status and their family name for personal gain? So why is it okay for them to do it? But when the royal family does it, it's manipulation? Why is it okay for Harry and Meghan to sell their most personal struggles to the highest bidder? But when the royals do it, or even when they show any semblance of their true selves, they are criticized. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but didn't they have a right to leave? Isn't it their life to live? Absolutely. But the issue here is the narrative they've spun. They haven't just left. They've dragged the entire royal family through the mud. They've written books, made documentaries, and given interviews, all in the name of healing. But each time they do, they make millions. As we move forward, the question remains, was their exit really about freedom? Or was it about securing a different kind of royalty? One where they are the center of attention. With their own empire built on the back of the very institution they claim to despise? Are they truly the victims? Or are they the masterminds of a well-crafted media spectacle? Stay with me, because what's coming next will make you think twice about everything you thought you knew about Harry and Meghan. Now that we've taken a look at the story they've sold to the world, it's time to dive deeper into the contradictions, the things Harry and Meghan have either glossed over or flat out ignored in their quest for sympathy. Are we dealing with genuine victims? Or is this just a well-constructed narrative designed to manipulate public opinion? Let's start by examining Meghan's image as the victim of relentless media abuse. The tabloids certainly haven't been kind to her. There's no denying that. But is she really the helpless princess she portrays? Or has she, in fact, contributed to the very chaos she claims to despise? Meghan has spoken extensively about how the press treated her, how they twisted her every word, painted her as a villain, and tried to destroy her image. But here's the twist. Was the media really the sole culprit here? Or is it possible that Meghan, in her quest for fame and power, played the press game just as much as they played her? Let's not forget that Meghan had no problem playing up to the media when it suited her needs. Her high-profile relationship with Harry, her royal wedding, and even her appearances on talk shows have always been strategically timed for maximum impact. She knew exactly what she was doing, stirring up the drama, fueling the fire, and profiting from the public's fascination with her. So, is she truly a victim? Or is she just a shrewd player in the media circus? Now, let's take a look at the other side of the coin. Harry. We've heard his heartbreaking tales about being trapped within the royal family, about feeling neglected and misunderstood. But here's where things get murky. Has Harry really been trapped? Or has he been playing the victim card for his own benefit? Harry's behavior over the years doesn't quite align with the image of a man struggling to break free. He's been handed one privilege after another: title, wealth, fame. And yet he's chosen to continually distance himself from the very family that gave him everything. Every time the royal family has tried to extend a hand, he slapped it away. The more they try to help him, the more he criticizes them. Does this sound like a man who truly wants peace? Or does it sound like someone who enjoys stoking the flames of controversy to keep himself relevant? Let's also talk about the constant contradictions in their story. On one hand, they claim to be stepping away from royal duties to lead a private life. But on the other hand, they're cashing in on their royal connection every chance they get. Netflix deals, book deals, and media appearances. Harry and Meghan have become a brand built on royal drama. Every time they make a statement, every time they release a snippet of personal struggles, the media goes wild, generating more publicity for them. What does this tell us? Are they really trying to distance themselves from the royal family? Or are they using the royal family's name and legacy as a stepping stone for their own success? It seems that every time Harry and Meghan try to move away from the spotlight, they manage to insert themselves back into it, all while criticizing the very system that helped create their fame. And here's the real kicker. What happened to their so-called quest for privacy? After all the talk about wanting to escape the public eye, we now know that they've been doing the exact opposite. Their every move has been documented, not just by the media, but by their own social media platforms and public statements. It seems that every time they claim to want peace, they stir up another storm. As we continue to unravel this web, one thing becomes clear. There's a vast difference between the story Harry and Meghan want us to believe and the reality that's slowly coming to light. They've claimed to be victims of the royal family's treatment, yet they've used their departure as an opportunity to profit in ways they could have never imagined as working royals. But what does this really mean for the future of the monarchy? Are we looking at a couple who simply wanted freedom? Or are they using their royal connection for their own gain, all while painting themselves as martyrs? And as the contradictions continue to mount, it becomes harder to take their claims at face value. How much of their story is truth? And how much is just a carefully crafted narrative to keep them in the public eye? Now, let's look at the most shocking part of this entire saga. Harry and Meghan's actions in the media seem to be leading us somewhere. Something far more sinister than we've been led to believe. The pieces are starting to fall into place. What is the real story behind their actions? And how far will they go to maintain their control over the narrative? Now that we've peeled back the layers of contradictions in Harry and Meghan's story, it's time to dive deeper into the shadows of this royal drama. What if everything we've seen, every claim, every tear, was carefully constructed, designed to pull at our heartstrings while hiding the real agenda? What if there's more at play here than just two royals struggling to find themselves in a world that's left them behind? Let's start with the biggest bombshell. Harry and Meghan's relentless pursuit of money. It's no secret that after stepping down from their royal duties, they began making lucrative deals with Netflix, Spotify, and publishers. But what did they offer in return? Content, drama, the royal family. Let's be clear. Harry and Meghan haven't just told their side of the story. They've spun it into a multi-million-dollar empire. And who's been footing the bill for all of this? The very same public that they claim to want to distance themselves from. The hypocrisy is undeniable. Every time they accuse the royal family of exploiting their titles for personal gain, they're doing the exact same thing, just with a different playbook. Here's the key question. How many times can you claim to want privacy while simultaneously releasing intimate details about your personal life to the highest bidder? The couple's media projects have been like an open door into their lives. Leaked conversations, personal grievances, and intimate moments have all been laid bare for the public to consume. It's hard to ignore the irony. They want privacy, but only when it benefits their bottom line. But let's dive even deeper. Are Harry and Meghan truly independent? Or are they still seeking validation from the very institution they claim to have rejected? Take the example of their appearance at the Oprah interview. Yes, they painted themselves as the oppressed, misunderstood royals. But notice something crucial. They were still benefiting from their royal connection. Oprah, the queen of interviews, conducted this session in a mansion owned by a media mogul. And the entire world watched. Sponsors, media outlets, and a public hungry for royal drama. Could this interview have gone ahead without Harry and Meghan's royal ties? Would Oprah's network have given them the same stage if they were just regular celebrities? Of course not. And then there's the matter of their ongoing legal battles. Harry is suing for security and fighting for his right to be treated like a working royal, while simultaneously painting the royal family as the villains. Do we believe Harry, the former soldier, is really incapable of moving around the UK without armed guards? His demands for round-the-clock protection and his legal campaign to reinstate royal privileges seem at odds with the narrative they've built about seeking independence. Is he fighting for safety? Or is this yet another move to keep his name in the headlines? To remain relevant in a world that's slowly moving on? Now, let's get to the biggest, most shocking revelation, the children. Archie and Lilibet, the young heirs to the royal legacy, except no one's seen them. There are no public outings, no pictures, and the couple has kept their supposed children hidden from the world. Could it be that Archie and Lilibet are not the biological children of Harry and Meghan? There's been growing speculation about this, and while it may seem far-fetched, we must ask, where is the proof that these children even exist in the way we've been told? Remember when Meghan was pregnant with Lilibet? The timing and circumstances raised more questions than answers. And what about the mystery surrounding their births? The official records, the photos, and the timelines just don't add up. If we were dealing with any other public figures, the public would demand answers. Why are we so quick to believe the glossy narrative presented by the couple? But here's where things get even murkier. Why hasn't the royal family taken action? If there were concerns about the legitimacy of these children or the couple's actions, why have they remained silent? Could it be that the monarchy is just as complicit in this charade as Harry and Meghan? It's a question that deserves more than just a passing thought. As we start to piece all this together, one thing becomes clear. Harry and Meghan are not the rebels they portray themselves to be. Instead, they are master manipulators, playing a game of media manipulation, money-making, and public relations. They've made millions by trading on their royal status. And each revelation, each controversial statement, is nothing more than another step in their well-crafted performance. But here's the kicker. What if the truth behind their actions is even darker than we realize? What if their grand escape wasn't about finding freedom, but about exploiting their royalties to fuel their own fame and fortune? Now, as we reach the final piece of this puzzle, the stakes are higher than ever. We've uncovered contradictions, hypocrisy, and hidden agendas. But the real question now is, who's truly in control of this royal drama? Who stands to benefit from all the chaos Harry and Meghan have stirred up? And is there a greater force at play behind the scenes? Let's start by asking the most fundamental question. Why have Harry and Meghan been allowed to get away with so much? It's clear that they've used their royal connections to fuel their media empire, yet they continuously paint themselves as victims of a corrupt system. Their actions seem to suggest a deliberate effort to destabilize the royal family. So why hasn't the monarchy taken action? One possible explanation is the incredible political and media influence that Harry and Meghan now wield. With Netflix deals, book tours, and high-profile connections, they've built an empire that's impossible to ignore. But what's even more chilling is the possibility that they may not be the ones driving this narrative at all. Could it be that powerful forces, beyond just Harry and Meghan, are fueling this ongoing saga for their own gain? Take a moment to consider the media landscape. Every time Harry and Meghan make a statement, the media picks it up, amplifies it, and feeds it to the masses. Every interview, every leaked detail, sparks outrage, discussion, and endless commentary. But is this just a coincidence? Or is there something more at play? The media thrives on controversy, and Harry and Meghan's every move gives the media exactly what it needs to stay relevant. Could they be the unwitting puppets of media moguls, using them to fuel their own ratings and profits? But let's dig even deeper. Could there be a political agenda involved here? Think about the high-profile figures who've supported them. Celebrities, politicians, and even media tycoons. Meghan's relationship with her political connections in the United States has long raised eyebrows. What if their royal exit wasn't just about freedom or privacy, but about aligning themselves with forces that stand to benefit from weakening the British monarchy? Meghan has long been vocal about her progressive views and her desire to change the world. But who benefits when the British monarchy, a centuries-old institution, is undermined by public infighting and scandal? A destabilized monarchy could serve the interests of those who seek to challenge traditional power structures. And what better way to weaken an institution than by having its own members air its dirty laundry for the world to see? But here's where things take a turn. What if Harry and Meghan's departure wasn't just a personal choice but part of a larger game to remake their identities? Remember the role of the crown in shaping public perceptions. The Netflix show about the royal family has brought millions to the streaming service, and Harry and Meghan's own deals are built on similar fame-driven motives. Could it be that they were always meant to leave, to become the stars of a new type of royal drama? One where they control the narrative and rake in millions while the monarchy fights to maintain its dignity? Now, let's pause and consider the most unsettling thought of all. What if the royal family has simply allowed this to unfold, knowing full well the consequences, but also recognizing that this may be the only way to preserve the monarchy's relevance in the modern world? Are Harry and Meghan pawns in a larger game of political maneuvering? Or are they the masterminds of their own royal revolution? Here's the real kicker, the most shocking element we've yet to discuss. What if everything Harry and Meghan have claimed, every grievance, every accusation, was just a distraction from something far more sinister? What if the ultimate goal is not just financial gain, but political influence? By casting themselves as the outsiders, the rebels, they've positioned themselves perfectly to gain followers, supporters, and a platform to push their own agenda. And as we approach the end of this saga, one question remains. Who really holds the power here? Is it the monarchy, struggling to maintain its integrity? Or is it Harry and Meghan, who've spun their departure into an empire of influence and control? The real story, my friends, is only just beginning. What happens next? Will the royal family finally reclaim its dignity? Or will Harry and Meghan continue to capitalize on their royal brand for years to come? The truth is out there, but will anyone be brave enough to tell it? So, what have we learned from all this? Harry and Meghan's story is far more complex than the fairy tale they've sold us. From their departure from the royal family to their media empire, they've woven a narrative of victimhood and rebellion that hides a far more calculated agenda. Every accusation, every leak, and every dramatic turn in their journey has been carefully crafted for one purpose: control. But who is really pulling the strings here? Are Harry and Meghan the true masterminds? Or are they simply pawns in a much larger game? This isn't just about a couple rebelling against tradition. It's about power, influence, and the creation of a new royal narrative. We've seen how they've capitalized on their titles, their drama, and their connection to the British monarchy. But here's the thing, this story is far from over. The next chapter could be even more explosive than what we've seen so far. As the royal family faces the fallout, what will Harry and Meghan do next to maintain their place in the spotlight? And, more importantly, how much more of this narrative will we buy into before the truth comes crashing down? This isn't just a story for us to watch. It's one that we need to question, discuss, and debate. What does this mean for the future of the monarchy? Are Harry and Meghan truly the heroes they claim to be? Or is there more beneath the surface that we've yet to uncover? So, what do you think? Is there more to their exit than we've been told? Are they victims? Or are they simply building an empire off the back of the royal family's legacy? I want to hear your thoughts. Let's get a conversation going in the comments below. And remember, this saga isn't over, and we'll be here every step of the way, uncovering the truth behind the headlines. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the latest updates. Trust me, the best is yet to come.